Wendell Johnson has asserted that when we abstract, we select small portions of reality to attend and to leave out the rest. In the abstraction process, our senses and locations, not to mention previous training and experiences, limit what we encounter of all that is going on in the world. In validating this claim, it was stated that Korzybski used a rotary fan to demonstrate the impact of our senses on perceptual accuracy in this ever-changing environment. He selected this simple demonstration because it showed that what we see may not be what is really there. As Korzybski argued, let us recall in this connection the familiar example of a rotary fan, which is made up of separate radial blades, but which, when rotating with a certain velocity, gives the impression of a solid disk. In this case, the disk is not reality, but a nervous integration or abstraction from the rotating blades. We not only see the disk where there is no disk, but if the blades rotate fast enough, we could not throw sand through them, as the sand would be too slow to get through before being struck by one of the blades. It should be noted that in this context, we should be cognizant of the origin of abstract, since it is from a Latin word meaning pulled away, detach, and the basic idea is of something detached from physical or concrete reality. Further, in a philosophical terminology, abstraction is the thought process wherein ideas are distanced from objects, a view asserted by Wikipedia. In my field of view as an author, media arts specialist, student of film and culture practitioner, philosophically and metaphorically, through my abstract lens, I have focused on considering something carefully and navigating my way through life, because thinking is the ability to think about objects, principles, and ideas that are not physically being at hand in a cultural context. The essence of such reasoning contends or asserts that, plausibly, collectors and curators of private museums should always be thinking about an object's biography, or in other words, provenance. Where did it come from? How was it acquired? What has been its path of circulation? A view espoused by Christina Krebs, an associate professor, director of Museum and Heritage Studies, and director of the Museum of Anthropology at the University of Denver. As I continue decoding and researching the aforesaid, I am beginning to understand that all of the theories and hypotheses that are related to symbolic thinking also uses the substitution of a symbol for an object or idea. A case in point, reparation is the process of returning an asset, an item of symbolic value, or a person voluntarily or forcibly to its owner or their place of origin or citizenship. Given the specificity and logistics of this way of thinking, a different lens can be used as it relates to collectors who are seeking older objects originating from the continent, which may fall into the category of objects with potential for repatriation claims. Therefore, more attention should be given to the fact, when we see the adjective abstract for something that is not a material object or is general and not based on specific examples. All things being considered, abstract is from a Latin word meaning pulled away, detach, and the basic idea is of something detached from physical or concrete reality. The more that I navigate this process, I am sensing that perhaps most of our modern inventions would not exist if there were no abstract thinking, a view espoused by Julia Thomas. That's why abstract thinking is the ability to understand concepts that are real, such as freedom or vulnerability, but which are not directly tied to concrete physical objects and experiences. And so, in this context, and in all probability, when we examine this theoretical abstraction in culture, it seemingly behaves like a phrase which is open to two interpretations, which also implies a double entendre. However, in most instances, if we had no abstract ideas in our minds, all must have been concrete, visible, and tangible. Further to this point, it should be noted that the discipline of social theory, abstraction, is used as both an ideational and material process. At various developmental stages of our lives, we may fail at times to differentiate the meaning of the construct abstract versus extract, maybe because we are human. For instance, abstract describes something like an abstract idea, whereas extract is removing something like extract a seed from an orange. They both can mean to remove or take out, but extract is more commonly used because abstract has a couple of different definitions. The adjective abstract means a thought or idea that has not rooted existence, such as love, and the verb abstract means to remove or take out. Extract, as defined in the Oxford Dictionary, that which is extracted or drawn out, whereas abstract, the adjective, considered part from any application to a particular object, separated from matter existing in the mind only, as abstract truth, abstract numbers, hence ideal, abstruse, difficult. At this juncture, Alfred John Raphael arrives on the scene and asks the pertinent question: can there be abstraction other than by thought? He used the example of commodity abstraction to show that abstraction occurs in practice as people create systems of abstract exchange that extend beyond the immediate physicality of the object and yet have real and immediate consequences. We see the principles of abstraction in art, computer science, general semantics, linguistics, mathematics, music, neurology, philosophy, psychology, and social theory. There is an abstract thinking just as there is an abstract feeling, sensation, and intuition. Abstract thinking singles out the rational, logical qualities. Abstract feeling does the same with its feeling values. I put abstract feelings on the same level as abstract thoughts. Carl Jung believes that abstract sensation would be aesthetic as opposed to sensuous sensation, and abstract intuition would be symbolic as opposed to fantastic intuition. Jung, 1921, 1971, par 678. There's also abstract culture, which is the background of every human communication. This is possible by putting down implicit cultural references to certain structures on the text level. Cultural elements appear in the text on all levels, from the concept and form of words to the sentence and text structure to pragmatics. According to the Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary, the act of obtaining or removing something from a source, the act of abstracting something. Formal is a general idea or quality rather than an actual person, object, or event, and an abstract idea or quality. A case in point Abstraction is one of the key concepts of object-oriented programming languages. Its main goal is to handle complexity by hiding unnecessary details from the user. That's a very generic concept that's not limited to object-oriented programming. You can find it everywhere in the real world. Importantly, the purpose of this textual analysis is just a pretext to draw our attention to a cultural theoretical abstraction conversation of the study of the research and investigation of the basic design of the elements of abstraction operating within the precincts of culture. What is also uniquely interesting that at the end of the day, culture exists in the minds or habits of the members of society, and there are degrees of visibility of cultural behavior, ranging from the regularized activities of persons to their internal reasons for so doing. In other words, we cannot see culture as such. We can only see human behavior. Although the definition of an abstract is a summary of a written work, yet an example of an abstract is a written description of the findings of a scientific study. This is why we should use the adjective abstract for something that is not a material object or is general and not based on specific examples. We should be cognizant of the origin of abstract, since it is from a Latin word meaning pulled away, detach, and the basic idea is of something detached from physical or concrete reality. Abstract thinking is the ability to think about objects, principles, and ideas that are not physically present. It is related to symbolic thinking, which uses the substitution of a symbol for an object or idea. Abstraction in culture is an intellectual cultural conversation whose underpinnings are grounded in philosophic and metaphoric theories. This discourse is also contextualized in 15 chapters and framed in ISBN 978 976 9651241. This expository is the pretext which underscores the point that abstraction in culture is just another lens used from my field of view as an author, media arts specialist, student of film, and licensed cultural practitioner to validate the point we cannot see culture as such. We can only see human behavior. Overall, according to Wendell Johnson, when we abstract, we select small portions of reality to attend to and leave out the rest.